Hey, I'm Cindy Delong, and you're watching the AU Review.
Well, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're in a hometown festival.
Yes. I usually, even then, I was like just from Oakville, so it's like a 20-minute drive away from these festivals. I've always kind of sadly been hometown.
It's I imagine that you've done it before.
A couple times. Yeah, a couple. I think this is my second year. Yeah.
What are your general experiences of the event?
Well, I just turned 19.
That was going to be my next point.
But so I used to do like a lot of the cafes, a little more of the casual stuff. So this was my first kind of real adult show.
Yeah.
When I played at the Dakota. So it was an awesome experience. Yeah.
You know, they can bring you beers on stage.
I was
and
about
it's
to
not an
say,
issue.
I felt so grown up. I wasn't just performing to my, grandparents. I got to perform to people older than me and my own age, it's awesome. It's a different kind of connection.
You've definitely kind of hit the ground running early, which is great though, so that you're doing these shows, but you've already had all this experience. You've played festivals, you've released 2 EPs.
Yeah.
So, what have your experiences been like to now? I imagine it's been an incredible learning experience, along with everything else.
Definitely. Well, I started out to really folky, way more of like the Taylor Swift when she was 14 kind of route.
When she was great.
Oh, no, yeah. No, that's not, it's anyone who's young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just the whole really classic singer-songwriter. So it's been like a huge evolving thing, because a lot of people, I talk to tons of people and they don't start till they're done university, because, they do the thing. So I've really been lucky that I started when I was young, because I could really adapt and evolve and kind of, shape myself through my maturity. And I think that's been the biggest thing is, especially the goal, the biggest thing I always said, I was like, when I'm 19, I want to be as good as the people who are starting when they're 25. You know what I mean? Like, that was always the goal, was to be the 5 years ahead. Yeah.
Skip ahead a little bit.
A little bit. That's why when I turned 19, it was like I could finally do all the things that I said I was going to do.
So how has your music then progressed through that period?
It's definitely gotten... My songwriting's definitely matured, lyrically, definitely through... I was singing about just, when I thought I was sad when I was 16, what sadness was when you're 16. So definitely lyrically, a lot of stuff has really matured through my experiences. And just... I think the way I perform my songs, I think, has gotten really different, too. When I write, I think of how am I going to perform this? How is that going to adapt on stage? And I think that's something that it's really evolved from a lot of people. That's what they say is when we saw you when you were 16, you were so cute, and you know what I mean? So that's been a huge progression. And
where does that go from here? I imagine that you're starting work, if not already, working well into your full length release.
It will be. Well, what I'm starting to put together a real band. That's the next big goal, the next couple months.
And then primarily perform solo?
Mostly, yeah. Mostly for just travel purposes. It's easier, and just it's expensive having a full band. I'd rather I don't want to just adapt myself to a band. I want to stay Sydney DeLong. So in that process, it's harder to find really good musicians, but definitely in the next few years, I want to really work towards a full length. Take definitely the next step up, maybe release an EP within there, but I'm really excited actually to put together a full piece of work.
So at CMW, have you been teasing new material?
Definitely. I tried out a lot of new songs at my set yesterday, and people loved them, which was really cool. A lot more upbeat stuff. Really got a big kind of a country blues thing going on, and I was really at Dakota. That works perfectly. It's kind of a country blues venue. And it was it's nice. It's really cool. And I just recorded a new song too that went over really well. That'll be up on SoundCloud and all my websites soon.
So you're just gonna keep pushing along and keep progressing.
Get the trudge. I gotta still walk through the mud a little bit. Yeah.
What pushed you down the kind of country blues route with the newer material?
I honestly don't know. I listen to so much hip hop and rap that the contrast is it's freaky, but I don't know. Maybe a little bit. I like the kind of fast-paced, more environment of the country stuff, and that's country and folk music are very aligned. I'm still so really immersed in the folk world. I don't know. It's kind of a mixture. I definitely think I get a lot of my rhythmic elements, when you sit down listen to it from my rap music, but it's just fun. The whole kind of twang and blues thing. It's blues and jazz comes a lot from my vocal training, so it's kind of like a big collage right now.
Everything's just coming together
It's
and
honestly
coming out
all
the other
these years
end.
of training and seeing shows. It definitely had a massive influence on my new stuff.
Well, I mean, you listen to hip hop music, and the origins of all that are the blues.
Or especially these days, a lot of rappers are taking a lot of samples from old blues tracks. Like Kanye does a lot of that. Yeah. A lot of even Tyler the Creator did a lot of Stevie Wonder kind of stuff in his tracks, and so it's interesting too to see how they've evolved from that. How it's full circling a little bit in the music industry.
Frank Ocean,
honestly,
coming out of Odd Future and doing that more soulful.
Yeah, and how like R&B is just so. Some R&B is is it really R&B? But a lot of it is definitely coming back, which is it's cool. It's like all the history class that you learn about. It's actually I can see it in other works and how it's so modern too, and just definitely the mixture and how it's evolved. It's as a young artist, it's really cool that I get to experiment with that kind of stuff.
It's a time to do it as well,
Definitely.
as you're finding your sound, finding your place. You can play around with all these different sounds without any kind of pressure or expectation to do X or to do Y.
Yeah, definitely a big part too about, I find as a young artist these days too, and even just any artist in general, like you see Lady Gaga, like each of her albums have evolved so drastically. They're all within the pop stream, but like this whole creating a new album that's so different from your last is so encouraged, which is really cool. People don't expect the same all the time, and I think that's really awesome about our generation.
And that's kind of where you see yourself going, trying to do something new every step of the way.
Well, pushing yourself all the time, like especially I find there's two sides to my craft. Is I want to be recognized as like a vocalist and a musician, and then I also want to be recognized as a performer. And as a performer, you have to do a different show. You know what I mean? People don't want to see the same show all the time. Like Wicked is not the same on Broadway every single time. You know what I mean? So that's something that I really play with a lot, and I'm going to really take advantage of throughout my career.
And what is next for you after CMW? Do you have some shows lined up over the next couple of months?
Hopefully. I'm going to be playing a lot more. I'm going to try to... I moved to Toronto mostly to really work the scene, so that's what I'm going to be doing a lot this summer. I'm going to be playing with a lot of other people that I kind of grew up with. I did this Discovery Series thing, which is part of the Georgian Bay Folk Society when I was like 16, and a lot of us went through, and we're all kind of coming back together now. After we were like, we're all 19, 20 now from 16. So we're doing a lot more shows this summer. And
great.
Yeah.
So a good summer ahead.
It's going to be, a lot of singing, a lot of writing, a lot of working.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for your time. And
thank you, man.
Enjoy CMW. I hope you get to see some other great artists as well.
That's the plan.
Anyone you recommend checking out?
Richard Flowhill is hosting a showcase at the Painted Lady tonight.
Oh, cool.
It is awesome. The lineup is incredible. It's totally rootsy, bluesy. It's going to be great.
Cool.
If you can hit it up, yeah.